Hey guys, Foxdrop here on a video on jungling start pass. What buff you want to be starting on, what jungling route you want to be taking when you are jungling. This is probably one of my most frequently asked questions, is what buff do I start on? Where I'm playing this jungler, where should I start? What jungling route should I go? Now this is a very kind of situational topic, very similar to item builds. There is no real kind of set in stone answer for this question. There's no black and white answer. So that's the first thing I want to teach you guys, is that you shouldn't be saying, if I'm playing this champion, I should be starting at this buff. There's none of that. Like, just forget that already. It's all very, very situational. For example, you know, it depends on what champion you're playing, what champion the enemy jungler is playing, your goals, like whether you want to gank, whether you want to farm, what the enemy laners are, whether they're easy to gank, whether they're going to be putting on a lot of pressure early, what your laners are, so whether they're easy to gank for, whether they're going to need a lot of help, things like invades, wards, if they've warded your jungle, if you've warded their jungle, and of course what side you're on, if you're on blue side, whether you're on purple side. So there's loads of different things, those are situational information which you should be taking into account. So I'm just going to be giving you loads of examples of my games and gonna be explaining why I took the start pass I did, and hopefully throughout these examples you should get a decent understanding of where you should be starting when you are playing in the jungle. Now this first clip is me playing jungle Nunu. This is one of my solo queue games in high diamond, and so already, because I picked Nunu, I'm looking to be very aggressive. I'm looking to invade early. You don't usually have to start at the enemy's buffs when you do play Nunu, but you can steal them away very, very easy, because the combined damage from your consume and your smite will out damage anything that the enemy jungler can deal with. So you can take it and you can run away really, really easily. And with the new patch 3.8, buffs are worth even more, so Nunu is really, really strong right now. So I go and place a ward at their blue buff just because I want vision on it. If Nocturne's there, then I can probably steal it away without him even being able to do anything about it. If he's not there, then it gives me vision so that I can make a play on it later. So I run up my red side jungle and down the river. The reason I run that way around is because I want to avoid anyone who might be scouting me in the little banana bush. So I run all the way up, all the way down, I ward it, and then Yorick actually comes to, they may see me there, they may not, but Yorick comes to just check everything out, and I don't want any business with Yorick. I've got no quarrel with Yorick, so I just want to avoid him. I run all the way, I run like around, like a really kind of smart route to avoid him so he doesn't see me, and then me and Kenan manage to take away the blue buff without anyone seeing us, without anyone knowing. And after we've taken that away, I'm in a position of huge power because I can then just go and secure my own buffs. Now the biggest thing about this play is that we have warded our blue buff, so that if Nocturne does come, which he does, if he does come, we can stop him because we know he's there, and that's exactly what happens. He invades and we manage to stop him, we take him out, and it completely screws him over. In this game I'm playing jungle Kha'Zix versus a jungle Hecarim, and already at level 1 I'm going to go and scout away my red buff, and Hecarim comes to see me out, and I think he's just being a bit cheeky, so I try to take him on a little bit, and it turns out he actually brought a few friends with him. So I blow my flash at level 1 trying to survive, and so already I'm feeling very, very vulnerable in the jungle. So I've decided that I'm just going to be very, very passive. I'm not going to do anything. I don't want to be ganking early, because if Hecarim shows up to counter gank me and I don't have my flash, then I'm just going to die. I'm going to blow him, I'm going to waste my double buffs, feed double buffs to someone, and I just don't want to be in that situation. So I'm not going to risk anything. I'm just going to be farming passively early. So what this means is that red buff is probably the best start for me. That's for a few reasons. Firstly, I don't mind wasting red buff. Red buff is usually wasted when you're just clearing the jungle, because it's better for like ganking, like dueling and stuff like that. It's better for PvP rather than PvE. But if I don't really care about that, because I just want to farm anyway. I just want to be very passive early, and so the blue buff is more valuable to me, so I don't mind wasting it. So I'm going to start there. And secondly, because I am vulnerable, I don't have my flash, and Kha'Zix does get fairly low when he's clearing for the double buff, because he has no real sustain, and his W has a too high a cooldown to really work for his sustain. If I am vulnerable and if Hecarim does invade me, then I have my bot lane to come and collapse for me, which is a lot stronger than just having Vlad to come collapse for me, because there are more people. I'm also not really very concerned about early ganks either. Kha'Zix can be very aggressive early, but Karthus and Vladimir are not very good early. They're not good to gank for. None of them have very reliable forms of CC, especially if we look at the enemy characters. Zac can just E away, he'll just jump away, and neither me nor Vladimir have any form of hard CC to stop that. And whereas Karthus' Wall of Pain is very, very good for ganking, against a Morgana with a spell shield, it's not going to be any use whatsoever. So there's no real point me trying to orchestrate any ganks top or mid, because I'll probably just be wasting my time. If my mid and top lanes were stronger characters than Karthus and Vladimir, at least stronger early, then I would probably start at blue buff, get smites there, go to red buff, and with a level 3 double buff go and gank one of the solo lanes. As we see, as I am taking away my blue buff, Hecarim actually decides to invade me. Now I am quite low, like I said I would be. Hecarim's on full health, and I can't actually 1v1 him, but he can't 1v1 me either. And because I am at my blue buff, my bot lane comes to help me out, so he is forced to go and execute. Now getting an execute isn't ideal for us, but he does lose his buff, which does screw him over, so it's okay. Now as you can imagine, I don't take too kindly to people invading my jungle, so I just thought I'd throw in a small clip here of the events that followed. After I recalled, I run over to his red buff, I see that he's there, and so I give a little bit of payback for him invading me and blowing my flash early. I take away first blood and I managed to survive as well. This clip is me playing Shaco on my Smurf, which is a platinum rank gain. Now Shaco is kind of like a special example because he's very, very unique in his playstyle, and also the fact that he has his boxes to help him at level 1 with his clear. So I originally wanted to start at blue buff on Shaco to work my way up the jungle. I'd take blue with my boxes and smiteless, and then I'd go and take red with my smite, and I'd go and gank Aatrox. Aatrox is pretty squishy and Rengar is very, very easy to gank for, so this would be a perfect route for me to do on Shaco. However, Blitzcrank shows his face as I'm stacking boxes. He puts a ward into the blue buff, and so I immediately ditch the buff. I realise it's probably not worth my time, because Blitzcrank can, even if he can't steal the buff, he can disrupt it, and there's just no point. It would waste my time, so I'm just not going to bother with it whatsoever. I run up to my red buff, I put one box down there, and Rengar comes and helps me, and with one box, well, the boxes are bosses I guess, but with one box and with Rengar's help, I'm ready to take away the red buff, not even using my smite. I could make the decision here. I'm faced with the decision whether I want to go to my blue buff, whether I want to go to their blue buff, and on Shaco it's a good idea to be invading. However, I am versus a Lee Sin this game, and at level 2, Lee Sin is a lot stronger than Shaco is, because Shaco basically only has one ability because his boxes are very unreliable early on. So I'm not going to invade, because if Lee Sin is there, he'll probably kill me. So I just decide to go play it safe. I go over to my blue buff, I take that away, and there's not really anything going as far as a gank after I've taken blue buff, so I'm just going to go and take my walls away just so I'm not wasting any time. But after Rengar has died, I see that Aatrox is still pushing the top lane. He's being very, very ballsy, so I decide to bomb it up there. I spam ping Rengar to go and face check the bush to stop him recalling, and we managed to take him out because he stayed for way too long. Now this last example that I'm going to show you is probably the least situational example, by which I mean this example you can pull off despite loads of other variables that might be happening, and this is basically just the farm route. I'm playing Aatrox jungle this game. I'm starting at blue buff because I just want to do a full clear. I'm just going to farm this game. I've decided this early jungle phase I'm just going to farm, and this was pretty much the best success that I had playing Aatrox jungle, was doing a route like this. So basically the route goes as follows. You go to your blue buff, you start your blue, you go to your walls, and then take away red with smite because you've got a smiteless at blue. Then you go to golems and wraiths, and that should hit you to level 4 about 3 minutes 30, which is a pretty good clear time. Now with this gank path, I'm rotating on all the lanes to soak up the XP in the farm wherever possible, but I'm having a pretty small amount of jungle pressure, which is kind of the downside to this farm route, is that I'm not ganking that much, so I don't have huge amounts of pressure, but I'm still keeping my eye on the map, so I'm not useless. I'm still showing my face every now and then. So I'm soaking up lanes, like I say, getting as much farm as possible, not looking for ganks whatsoever really. I'm only counter ganking, and as you can tell, 10 minutes in I only have 1 assist, which wasn't even really a gank. I was holding a lane and then managed to get a kill onto someone, but I do get an early level 6 because of this, which is around 6.5 minutes, which is pretty early for a jungler. And at 10 minutes I have 70 CS, which is really good even for laners. This is very, very good amount of farm. Now, this farm route is a good route to be taking with champions who scale very, very well with items, so the late game champions like Nocturne and Hecarim, as it's pretty guaranteed money. It's a much more reliable source of money for late game. Alternatively, this is also a good route for those who have pretty good clear speed, so people like Mundo and like this Aatrox here, especially the junglers with good clear speeds but who have poor gank potential, so people like Shyvana for example. I hope you found this in-depth guide useful. If this is the first video of mine that you are watching and you've made it this far, then thank you for watching. And also you can subscribe to me by hitting that subscribe button on the screen now, and also you guys can check out my other in-depth guide which I did, which is all about counter jungling. You can do that by clicking in the box on the screen now, and also come and check me out on my social medias, on my Facebook, which is facebook.com/foxdroplol, on my Twitter, which is twitter.com/foxdroplol, or @foxdroplol if you prefer, and also you can follow my Twitch, my stream, which is twitch.com/Foxdrop. All those links are in the description, guys. Thank you once again for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in my next video.